I recently watched a video about data mining the game Schedule 1, so I thought it would be cool to data mine Karlson and see what Dani left behind. And oh, you don't know what Carlson is? Carlson is this little game Dani is working on. It's currently the 37th most wishlisted game on Steam, so smash wishlist now, gamers. Now you may be wondering,
Hold on. How are you going to get access to Carlson's Unity files?
well, hold on. Let me cook. After doing some very intelligent research for 5 minutes, I found a tutorial on YouTube, and I can't lie, it was really easy to decompile the game. Basically, all that I had to do was go into the Asset Ripper GitHub, I downloaded it, uploaded Carlson to the software, and downloaded the decompiled project and uploaded it to Unity. When I opened the project, I automatically got a bunch of errors, and the scene looks weird, but we're not here for that. We're here for the files, not to modify the game. Now, one of the first things I realized is that there's a texture 2D object just called OK, which is really random, but okay, I guess. Another thing that's interesting is that you can actually see in-game, in the tutorial level, there are 4 white boxes throughout under the map. These boxes have really big colliders that respawn you depending on where you are. Another weird thing I found is that there's this material called No Draw. It seems to be a grid material like we see in the rest of the game, but it just says No Draw in yellow text in every box. Kinda weird. One last thing before we move to the scripts. There's a folder called Cube Maps that has the exact same Cube Maps skybox material pasted 11 times. I don't really know what the point of it is, but it's pretty interesting, I guess. Okay, now it's time for the code. Now, something I found pretty quick is that there's a dev console that you can access by pressing tab. Now, me personally, I never knew this existed until now. And of course, the dev console has a new woo in it. I'm gonna kill myself. When you open it, it says to type 1 for the commands. Here they are. FPS 1 shows how much FPS you have on the top right. Speed 1 shows how much momentum you've built up right under the FPS count. FOVI lets you set the FOV, and the sensitivity 1 does the same, but with the sensitivity. And also, you can set your max FPS with FPS limit I. And that's it. I may sound dumb, but I really had no idea this existed. Alright, now we can talk about the stuff you definitely didn't know about. So there's a script called navtest that is completely unused in the final game, but the name hints that it was a test. But here's something funny. In this script, it prints the word go in every frame the enemy is moving towards the player. Pretty cool. Anyways, another interesting thing I would like to note is that there's a script called player input. It does nothing, but it has the start and update function, but they have nothing in them. Weird. I'm guessing this player input script was meant to be like a key binding thing, but I guess it got scrapped. Something that I found that is really funny is that in a grappling script, instead of the usual name that someone would put, what is grappleable, for the layer mask, he called it what is sicko mode, which if you couldn't already tell, it's a reference to the Travis Scott song Sicko Mode, at least I think. Anyways, I found an unused system in the game which I'm pretty sure was a ranking system based on what your final time was. But there's one thing about it. It doesn't make sense. So, according to the script, if you get under 2 seconds, it is very easy, and 4 seconds is easy, and 8 seconds is medium, and so on. The function isn't called anywhere, so either it was scrapped or Dani just forgot about it. And the final cool thing I found before we end this video is an unused player movement script. This script is a lot simpler with no weapon or death handling like the other movement script does have. Alright, that's it for today. If you enjoyed this weird dive into Karlson's files, hit that like button, subscribe, and if this video gets 1.34 likes, I will data mine Dani's other games.